$42,000 took Sophie and I to financial freedom. It really does. So what I think you need to do, Santi and Christy, is be obsessed about learning real estate. I do believe in this crazy good energy. In order to receive, you got to be willing to give. It took me a long time to get there. But I'm right now front and center, man. What's on your mind?
Bobby, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. We really appreciate it. We reached out. Basically, we have 3 questions, right? I'm 44. We're parents of 3. We live here in Miami, Florida, so we're natives. And basically, I work in corporate America, right? I have 2 jobs. I make approximately $200,000 a year. I'm the breadwinner for the family, and I want to do more. Meaning I want to start, building something to build that legacy, to leave it to my children or to our children. And I feel like this corporate America is not going to get us there. So one of my questions was, you being the Bobby that you are today with everything that you've endured and everything that you've learned, in our situation, where would this Bobby start? We love real estate. There's so much information out there. We don't know where to start. Where would you start?
Good. I love it. Well, thank you for asking that question. By the way, I don't know if you read my book, but I just came out with a book, Upsiders. Good. Thank you, man. I hope that gives you a lot of value. I put my heart in that. I tried that book with 2 other publishers, and I was not happy. It wasn't my message, and I finally took it in my own hands, and I wrote it, and I do hope you both get a lot of value from that. So what happened with me, guys, Sophie and I have been together for 33 years, married for 32, and we too from Miami, man. My wife's Cuban, my father's Puerto Rican, my mother's Irish and Jewish, in Hialeah, matter of fact. So I in my book, I talk a lot about it. I was all over the place, but then it came to a point where I had to start to provide for my family like you are, Santhi. And I was waiting on tables of the Rusty Pelican, Key Biscayne, selling memberships during for the Better Business Bureau. And at the time, I started falling in a position where I just had a job and I was just providing to put food on the table and pay for bills. And then it's hard to get away from that because once you get off the wheel like a hamster, it all can come crashing down. How do you pay for your rent, your mortgage, etc.? And I didn't realize I had the best resource, man, right in front of me. And I go heavily in the book, and that was Sophie. Sophie, as you, Christy, you guys are partners, how I see it. Mm-hmm. And you both can leverage yourselves smarter instead of harder. So, Christy, do you have a job?
I was a teacher for 15 years. My dad got sick, so I do accounting and bookkeeping. But I have a very flexible schedule. I'm a team manager for my kids' soccer team. I do a lot of traveling with them.
Yep.
But pretty much, we depend on Santi for a lot of the stuff because everything's expensive, including soccer.
And Bobby, let me add, we're not flashers. I know that you talk about that heavily. We do the necessities. Obviously, we have this house, but everything that we do is for our children. We have 1 car in the family. It's 5 years old. So we're not into the flashing objects, which you go heavily into.
Yeah, got it. So Santi, you're 44. You're making a couple $100,000 a year. You want to start doing other things in life to start bringing more impact to your legacy financially and amongst other stuff, things in your house. How do I do it, Bobby? Because once I get off this hamster wheel, man, everything will come crashing down. So how much do you, if you don't mind answering, you don't have to if you feel uncomfortable, but I'm here to help. How much do you have in savings?
So savings, approximately 40.
Yeah.
About
40,000. Okay. So out of your $200,000, obviously after tax, and then how tight is your monthly overhead and how much you really have you're saving right now, or have you looked at it on a high level?
We pretty much save about $5,000 a month. My kids are, when I have to pay for my kids' school, I kind of dip into that a little bit. But for the most part, we try not to touch that savings on a monthly basis.
Got it. And is that savings invested anywhere, like any tax-free bonds or anything where it continues to earn money, say 4%, where you pay no tax? It's like earning 6 or 7%, or is it just in your normal boring savings account?
Yeah.
Savings account.
Okay, so that's one thing you need to start doing, even though many people would disagree, saying, oh, man, that doesn't move the needle. Well, anything that's big, guys, is started small. So what you could do right now is start utilizing that $5,000 a month, making sure you're parking it to actually start making money on that money because it does compound. There's something I love going to, man, and I'm so fascinated with it. If you do a Google, and you probably know about this, do the 1 penny compound effect on Google. 1 penny a day compounds in about a month, millions of dollars. Very, very powerful, the compound effect. So you have about $5,000 a month in savings. That means everything else is for bills.
Yeah.
There's nothing else left, right? So, and Chrissy, you're bringing no revenue in.
No, I do. I make approximately $1,000 a week.
Okay. And I know it's a sensitive topic, and I'll make sure to cut this out in our conversation because I don't want, I know everyone, you're working for companies and all that. The problem we have right here, how I see and how I had it, the revenue becomes 200,000 simply just not enough. Basically 250 because Santi, you're making 200 and you're making 50.
Yeah.
Right, Christy?
Yeah.
So you guys are bringing $250,000 a year gross in. You're only able to save $5,000. That means you have an overhead of things. I would think you have a mortgage.
Yeah.
We do.
What's your mortgage payment?
Right now, because of the insurance went up again, it's $3,000 a month.
$3,000. All in, that means your taxes, insurance, and your mortgage.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Which is a great deal, to be honest with you.
No,
and what is it, a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom?
Yeah.
It's a 3-2, and we live in Westchester.
Yeah, we live like in
okay,
a
good.
And her parents live right across the street from us, Bobby. So
how much in equity do you have in the house?
We have quite a bit. Because the house right now, the last appraisal was like $550, and what we have left is like $270 left on the mortgage.
Okay. So you got about $250,000 gross, give or take. I mean, maybe $200,000 after they do loan to value. So you have $250,000 that you can invest. This is the biggest. A lot of us, especially Latinos, the home is sacred. We want to do only one thing and one thing only: own it free and clear, like our mom and dad. It's been ingrained, at least into me. Even my parents didn't even have the opportunity to even do that. Is that your mentality too? That's a sacred asset that you don't want to play with?
No, I mean we're not like that. I mean we've lived in North Carolina. This is our third home.
It's for safety, for our children more than anything. That's really all we care about.
Because you're in a good spot here, guys. Because what I think, at least how me and Sophie are looking at the world, rates are going to start compressing. It's starting to break. You're starting to see it because of leverage. And what's happening in the banking system, they're borrowing short-term money and putting it into long-term investments. And these long-term investments are pretty much liquidity needs it as to leveling out the margin call. And you're starting to see that rates are becoming an issue. You're going to see more and more of it. That's good news for you. And also it's even better news, real estate. Sophie and I, even though we started that company together, we sold that for $1 billion, a South Florida company. But throughout the years, we've been invested slowly. We started in Section 8 housing, just Little Havana, Hialeah, Little Haiti, everywhere. We bought just these little things that started compounding, like I told you on that penny. But this is the time. Come later this year, you may be exposed, both of you, to opportunity. And what you can do with your time now is better served by learning about real estate. Because right now, Santi, you just cannot walk and start a business from, I won't dare advise anybody that take big risks, just jump. Where you jumping to? You're jumping to an empty pool here. You just can't get off that wheel right now. But you have $250,000 that if you invest, and you don't have to invest with nobody, you don't have to invest in a fund or anything. You can do it just like Sophie and I, right in your backyard. That $250,000, actually $42,000 took Sophie and I to financial freedom. It really does. So what I think you need to do, Santi and Christy, is be obsessed about learning real estate. You don't have to run out to buy a course. You don't have to run out to buy a package. You don't have to do anything. You have something that I didn't have, or Sophie. It's called the internet. You have information out there that can get you very curious and obsessed and start learning this game. So I want you to go to a paper you can subscribe to. It's probably maybe $10 a month, barons.com. Another one called financialtimes.com. This is all going to be intimidating information, but I can assure you, if someone like myself in Hialeah that failed the 3rd grade, no one fails in public system to the 3rd grade. I mean, that's like an automatic pass, guys. It didn't work for me. They held me back, and I only got to the 9th grade and Hialeah Junior High. I learned the stuff like I'm recommending to you, and how you're both are looking at me right now on the camera. You're very serious. It's time to learn something you don't know. If you learn these data points, you will understand how easy it is to invest in real estate in your backyard. And what you can do, it's an open invitation. You're here locally. Come, let's just put it on the calendar. Let's just say September this year. You contact me, contact my staff here. We're a big family. Our office is here in Fort Lauderdale. Our house is 10 minutes away. In September, because you're locally here, we hook up. You come to the office, and I want you guys to be better savvy on these 2 areas that I gave you. Once you understand about treasuries, the 10-year specifically, and understand how it behaves and why does it matter in our country, then I can give you some pointers here and there. I can introduce you to some great people that can expose you to opportunities, great lending relationships that I have right in your backyard. But it means nothing right now, because these other things that I'm recommending you to start diving into, when you have an understanding by September, then we can have more of a meaningful conversation. But I personally think it's time to start pivoting to what can feed that family for a lifetime, and that's real estate. I personally don't think real estate's going to be sub by technology. It gives me and my family, full transparency, $500,000 a month, every single month. It constantly grows. We don't take any more than that because we just don't take it to take it. And this is just that, along with some other investments. That's just real estate alone, besides the tax implications. And this is for your grandchildren. So I want you to think about grandchildren, because yes, you, I, Sophie, Christy, we could have made different choices, but now you can set it up and tee it up for your children and make that sacrifice.
Yeah. That's
Makes
great.
sense?
Yeah, makes 100% sense. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, and both of you do it together, man. It seems like you both jive. You're very cohesive. And but the Financial Times, Barron's, once you exhaust yourself from that, if it's way before September, call me, and then I'll guide you to some other areas. But any advice I give you, you won't understand it. You won't even see the opportunity until you understand these dots. Now, Bobby, what page do I look at? What article? These are daily papers. I just want you to get accustomed to this data. And as you and I speak in September, then it'll make better sense. So then and then I'll show you quickly. It'll take me maybe 4 hours with you guys to show you how to underwrite a deal, introduce you to some people right in your backyard, which is my backyard. Seem like you're great people, and thank you for reaching out. So I don't know if that answers some of your questions or if you have any more.
No, it really does. It really does. I mean, all of our questions were around that. How do we get started? How do we want to learn, right? We could put ourselves and learn something else, but we know that it's not going to build what we're looking for. And so we might as well together do this together and learn this together, even though we're starting now at age 44. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I love it, man. Dive in that paper. And this is stuff that we all miss out, and we don't realize this is how the wealthy get wealthy. They understand how the game is played.
Yeah. Absolutely. Bobby, do you
and work on getting that 50,000 in some sort of tax-free bond or something. Even though bonds are kind of wicked, you got to earn more than it's sitting in cash. And I recommend, I am not one to say cash is trash. I hate when I hear that. Without cash, you can't buy anything. The shirt I'm wearing, stack and rack, meaning my family, my grandchildren understand stack. Save your friggin' money. Rack it into investments. But you got to start earning money on that $50,000, because it's just going to go negative every month.
Yeah. Bobby, do you recommend we join your coaching group? I mean, I've looked into the coaching group that you have. Is that something that you recommend? We're not business owners, so we didn't think that it was, like maybe
So Sophie and I and my family, we coach, I think there's 20. I'm very selective on the folks because I love helping people that really want the help. And there's maybe 7 of them are from your backyard in Miami. So I would love to have you on the group. I think you'll be a great match. Some great interesting people. I'm very cautious on who we bring in the group, because it's folks like you guys really have intentions, and unfortunately it's not going to happen overnight, but you have to get to it sooner than later. So would I recommend it? Yes, because how I see both of you, you're very serious. Everybody on our group, they're couples. We do not take on anybody who does not want to jive with our couple, because if it's not aligned in the household, how the heck is it going to be in line in general? Yeah. So you'll see every couple, we're very big on that, Sophie and I, because without Sophie and without me, we couldn't have, there's no freaking way we would have created what we created.
Okay.
So if you do have an interest on that, reach out to Jen. You can attend one of our calls. I'll invite you as a guest. Just Zoom in. We have a Zoom. It's every other week for 90 minutes. And we take these deep dives of what some of the things I'm talking about, these data points, and we go underwriting. You get some of all the recordings and really how to underwrite it to show you really how the wealthy can continue to get wealthy. Yeah. It's not that they're bad people. They just know something that we don't know. And it's so easy to learn if you're curious. If you're curious, you become obsessed.
Love it. Love it. I appreciate it, Bobby. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Much love to you guys.
Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Awesome couple.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.